Welcome back to Twin Terror. I'm David.
No, I'm Gary.
And today we're going to talk about Gary's girlfriend, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
God.
If there's anyone who gets Gary all lathered up into a froth.
Goodness. Yeah. Bleach, blonde, butch body.
Badly built butch body.
Yeah, so Marjorie
Luscious
Taylor
Barbie.
Greene is very unhappy with Dear Leader these days.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah, so she's unhappy because Trump did this mineral rights agreement with Ukraine and is doing these negotiations with Iran, and she feels that the negotiations with Iran will ultimately fail and will end up going to a war with Iran. And she's she's kind of she's more of an isolationist proponent. Just keep all the money in America, in the United States, and don't worry about what's happening in the world. I mean, that worked really well in the 30s. Not.
It's the U.S. has the largest economy in the world, but it's not the only economy in the world.
Yeah.
And and I don't know what percentage of our GDP or of our economy is contributed by U.S. consumers. You know what I mean? Is it like half, and then the other half comes from outside the world? Let's just say it's half, which is probably an overestimation. But let's say it's half. How much more can you expect American citizens to purchase? Assuming the prices stay the same.
Well, that's what tariffs are for, right?
But I mean, yeah, it's like maybe you get up to 66%, maybe 75%, but it also means it's a 25% drop in sales and revenue.
Yeah.
So you're not going to make it up in tariffs. It's it's not possible. So it's a ridiculous notion to start off with. There's a saying called "play the tape all the way through." In other words, think about what you're going to do and then the consequences downstream because of it. Play the tape all the way through and see where you end up. And if it's like, they don't play the tape all the way through because it sounds great. Make America great again. Keep all the stuff for Americans. No trade. Okay, great. Let's talk about that. How much do Americans contribute to the U.S. economy, and how much more can they contribute, and how does that compare to what we make now? 25% drop in GDP. That is stock market crushing numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And that will lead to companies going out, which leads to unemployment, which leads to even less gross domestic product. Which leads to more jobs. There'll be an equilibrium eventually, but that's how you sell your excess stuff to other people.
If you're nostalgic about the 30s depression, you're going about it the right way.
Exactly. I mean, I can see why the 30s depression happened, because when you play it out like that, it's the natural outcome to this. It just is.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way it wouldn't be is if, like, we were like Japan, where they save as much money as they possibly can. So they've got money to spend, but their consumer habits are such that they don't spend it. And if you could change their consumer habits to spend, you'd be okay. But that's not. When the U.S. average household doesn't even have $1,000 to cover an emergency, you got a problem. We have a spending problem. We like to spend way too much.
We've already spent the money. There are many Americans that have already spent the money for next year already.
Right, exactly.
It's and that's to your point, where if an unexpected financial event happens, there's a lot of families that simply don't have a cushion to fall back on.
Dr. Lena also just put a video up on Marjorie Taylor Greene today. It's Sunday as we record this, Sunday, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. And she was commenting about Republicans and MAGA needing an off-ramp from Trump. And this is kind of Marjorie Taylor Greene setting herself up for an off-ramp from Trump. putting some daylight between her and Donald Trump, some separation between her and Donald Trump. And you can see it playing out that, Donald Trump is great and I love everything about him, but he's going to drag us into foreign wars. And that's my line in the sand. And I will separate myself because of that. And it's been funny. If you think about it, to me, it's been very frustrating because I've seen it for years. MAGA will not draw a line in the sand with Donald Trump. They never do, because if you draw a line in the sand, invariably you will cross that line. And then you have to draw a new line in the sand. And it's like your lines don't mean anything. Marjorie Taylor Greene drew a line in the sand. The other one was she will not vote for a continuing resolution ever again. She went on record, okay, lines in the sand, really humiliating if in 6 months you have to do that again.
Yep.
So she's backed herself into a corner.
Okay. You want to start or you want me to start?
You go ahead and start.
Okay, so
she's your girlfriend.
Oh, God. Okay, so let's take a look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's look at her energy and how things are looking in the Greene household.
And this will be for entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment purposes
okay,
only.
So right now the foundation is the Knight of Pentacles. All right, I've been patient. I've been waiting. I've got my things of value. This is her kind of sitting back and observing of what's been going on and not being happy about it. Challenge is the Six of Pentacles. I have a lot more to give to you than you've been giving to me. I've been giving you my support and my loyalty, but you're not giving me back what I want.
I'm waiting for the King of Coins or the Nine of Coins to pop up in this reading.
Underneath the energy underneath it, the Three of Wands, I'm looking at what's going on overseas, and I'm not happy about it.
Yep.
I've been sacrificing, and I want my ship to come in. I don't want the pebbles.
As an undertone to this, sort of keep in mind about fundraising for re-elections and budget hawking. Just not for you, but for the reader. Also keep those in mind. Is she doing this to raise money for her next re-election campaign? Is she trying to set herself up as a budget hawk?
Mm-hmm. In the past, you got the Ten of Cups. We were all one big happy family. We won. Yeah, exactly. We won everything to win in the election in 2024. Current energy is the Eight of Wands, but I'm seeing what's happening. All the actions that are being taken, especially the international actions across the seas. I'm not happy about it, and I need to get my message out.
It's weird because you think the military-industrial complex would want Ukraine to be buying all their missiles,
Well, and the thing is that what MAGA doesn't understand, because they don't tell them, is that it's not that we're not sending truckloads of cash over.
Yeah, helicopters loaded with sacks of greenbacks and dropping it in Kiev.
They're not taking the gold bullion from Fort Knox and taking it over to Ukraine and giving it to Zelensky. What they're doing is they're taking the stockpiles of munitions and equipment that we've been using. This isn't like new in the wrapper stuff necessarily. Exactly. A lot of this stuff is stuff that we've been using. So think of it this way. If Trump said, hey, you know what? We're going to go and we're going to take all of your cars and we're going to give them to Zelensky, and then you can go to the car dealership and we'll give you a brand new car.
Right.
And
that was a similar analogy I was going to use. It was giving the kids the cars that had been parked on the back 40. Here you go. Here's a car for you. Oh, well, now that we got a spot in the garage for a car, we'll buy another one, a newer one.
Replace it with a new model. And that's what the aid is doing. Is I think it's like inventory turnover. They're taking the old stock off the shelves, giving it to Ukraine to be used, and we're replacing it with fresh new stuff.
Yeah, that's right. You don't put the new milk in the front of the dairy case. You put it in the back, and you shove the later expiration dates up forward, so that, or the ones that are going to expire more quickly up forward, because you're going to either dump it or drink it.
Yeah. So in a lot of ways, Ukraine is doing the U.S. military a favor. We have fresh stockpiles of equipment and munitions, and they're using the old stuff.
There's a reason why we used carpet bombing in Iraq back in the 90s. It was a way to get rid of dumb bombs out of the U.S. inventory without having to spend a bunch of money to decommission them. You just drop them in the desert. Here you go. Your problem, not ours.
Overarching energy is the King of Cups. Now, this is an interesting card. This I was saying in the live stream, this card has just been perplexing me lately because this is about being emotionally mature. But I don't think you can call MAGA or Trump emotionally mature. It's exactly the opposite. So I guess I could turn it upside down and manually reverse it. It's that immaturity, just refusing to act like a mature adult on both sides. The lesson to be learned is the hermit. Maybe it's time to do some introspection. Both of yous.
Could be leaving.
Exactly. Marjorie Taylor Greene may be trying to find her own path. It's like Dave is saying, put some daylight between her and Trump. And I think that's exactly what this card is saying, is that, I'm going to try to find a path that creates daylight between me and Trump because I'm not agreeing with the policies. We're not the big happy family anymore. Outcome, hopes, wishes, dreams fulfilled. She is going to be very happy with the direction she's going. And maybe her constituents like that about her. She's in a deep red state. She's under no threat of losing an election. Now, she could be primaried, I suppose, but she's got name recognition.
Yeah. And the only way that you win a primary against her is being more extreme than she is.
Yeah.
You have to be more appealing to a heavily gerrymandered deep red district. You have to be more of the Yahtzee than she is.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look generally at Republican congressmen, especially the further to the right that you get. Are they seeing the writing on the wall for Trump, and they're now trying to protect their self-interests? Are we going to start seeing more of this? Is this a trend? Because it's pretty stark when one of the most extreme ones is abandoning him. Because actually, if it makes sense, the more extreme ones will abandon him. Well, no, because it's not like he's going extreme enough.
Yeah,
for her, I guess she's just an isolationist.
She wants him to be more extreme.
Right. Okay. So, there goes the card down there. It's the one card I was expecting for you.
Good job stacking it.
Yeah, no kidding. 9 of Coins is literally fell off the deck. 9 of Coins is the foundation of the reading. The reason why I was expecting this with Gary is because fundraising, and one of the things is money in politics. You need money to stay in your position so that you can continue to get money, and it's holding on to the money. I'm wondering if Trump's economic disasters are causing issues.
What great cards you got.
Exactly, in the Tower card here. Yeah, it's about wealthy people losing their money and trying desperately to hold on to that. As Clinton told HW, it's the economy, stupid. Or maybe it wasn't Clinton, it was James Carville that said it. But basically, the Bill Clinton, George H.W. Bush election, where the sitting president did not get reelected, part because of H. Ross Perot, but the other part was the economy was not doing well. If rich people stop donating because Trump's crashing the economy, that's going to cause problems for the Republicans in power. They're not going to get the money they need. In the past, as the magician, Trump has done this because you can't blame anybody else. This is Trump's ideas. He's going forward, things going forward with the economy or the growth of the economy being out of control, but in a downward fashion. You can't blame anybody else but Trump. Folks start walking away from it, and then that's going to lead to a change. Do I see a line in the sand in here? The overarching energy is the economy suddenly is out of control, all due to Trump and his policies, and people start leaving the party. They start leaving it. This could be party members leaving. This could be the congressman leaving. This could be the voters leaving. But it's driven by money and trying to hold on to money. This is something that they brought on themselves, and now they need to fix themselves. But yeah, there's a disaster that's absolutely happening. This is just, it's funny that something I saw in Blue Sky, Trump was asked about the economy, how on one hand, he's taking credit for it, but on the other hand, he's blaming Biden. And Trump's answer was, well, to me, anything that's good that's happened with the economy is because of me. And anything that's bad that's happening with the economy is because of Biden. Well, yeah, no shit, huh? I'm glad you finally said that part out loud. But don't worry, your MAGA faithful will absolutely think that that's brilliant logic, because accountability ain't a thing.
So what was your question that you were asking?
I was asking if if we're going to see more congressmen take this as an off ramp, and it didn't quite answer that. I think it's generally speaking, as the economy dives, crashes down, it's you can't not associate. I'm double negative. It has to be associated with Trump's tariffs. Wealthy people aren't going to like it. The economy's crashing, and when the economy crashes, people suddenly aren't very happy with their congressman anymore, and they get rid of them. It almost doesn't matter if you've separated yourself out from Trump. It's you've got an R by your name, and it's your party that did this, so you're out the door.
Yeah, you're 100% in control of the of the decision making.
It doesn't matter if you put distance between yourself and Trump. It's too late. You've already hitched your wagon to him.
So what's the economy looking like in 2026? And the run up to the election.
Just expect to see a tower.
Oh, here. Everything's going to be rosy and sunny.
It's a sunshine.
I think everyone will be very aware. Whatever's happening is going to be out in the open. It will be driven by the government. There will be, let's see. So Three of Pentacles is about collaboration.
It could also be about money going dark.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also backroom deals.
Sure.
Wealthy people being wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And Knight of Cups underneath it, kind of the false friend, the promises being put forth not matching the actions on the back end. So this isn't telling me one thing, or it's not saying the economy is going to be great. It's not saying it's going to be bad. It's saying that it'll be very apparent. It'll be driven by the government. The wealthy people will be wealthy, but it looks like there's some backroom deals going on, some collaborations going on, and don't necessarily believe everything that's being promised to you.
Yeah, to me, it's the truth of the economy is going to be out there.
Yeah,
you made decisions, and it's there for everybody to see now. So if the Republicans pass their massive tax break for the wealthy,
bingo. That's
congratulations. That's what your folks voted for. It's going to have consequences, and it's going to be the consequences for everybody to see. And guess what? Guess who ain't going to be impacted by those consequences?
Yeah,
people with lots of money are. Oh, wow, price of groceries goes up 25%. Well, when you've got more money than God, it really doesn't bother you at all. You don't even feel it.
Yeah, Trump has no idea what a loaf of bread costs.
Nope. Or a dozen eggs, apparently.
So it doesn't impact, the people that buy the groceries for me and make my meals, they're the ones that'll tell me.
I can't believe how much a Happy Meal costs these days. Poor Eric doesn't get his toys. He has like 30 toys. Maybe she'll only have 3 toys. Eric has too many toys. Eric can't have less toys. And if Eric has less toys, your children should have less toys too.
So to sum up, it looks like Marjorie Taylor Greene's not happy with Trump. She wants to set some daylight between. And Nico, we got the black abyss with green eyes.
Yes.
Good boy. It's going to be driven by the economy. And what's the economy going to look like in 2026? It'll be very apparent to all of us.
Yeah, it's just you're going to see the truth of it. The actions being taken, they are not anything that's going to make for a strong, robust economy. It just isn't. You're looking at isolationism, and that's going to cause a retraction. There's no other result for that on the long term.
Yeah.
Again, the stock market may do great on the short term, but on the long term, it's going to go down. But the stock market is not the economy. Those are two different things.
Yes.
The stock market is kind of like your enthusiasm for what the future looks like, whereas the economy is what is actually happening on the road. I believe Bell of the Ranch says the economy doesn't care about your feelings, but the stock market does care about your feelings. So that's kind of the difference between the two.
Yeah, we're in a very precarious position right now. We're on the precipice of stagflation.
Yep.
Yeah, you got a shrinking economy, and you've got inflation's not under control, and tariffs are something that will cause inflation to. It'll cause tariffs cause stagflation.
Yeah,
because it causes prices to go up, and it causes people to stop spending money.
Yep. And then if they stop spending money, U.S. companies will start losing. You lose jobs because you can't sell overseas because of tariffs.
Yep.
And you don't have you can't make up the income inside the United States. So what happens? Companies lay off people to stay profitable or go under if they can't do that, and then that causes unemployment to rise dramatically. So no growth, high inflation, high unemployment. For those who lived through the 70s, here we go again.
Yeah. Remember those price buster stickers on the Safeway meats? The lady with the rolling pin.
Oh yes. And you can't blame Biden for this one, because it can all be, in this case, it can all be taken back to April 2nd when Trump put his tariffs in place.
Absolutely.
All can be traced back to that.
Mm.
They didn't learn in the 30s, and apparently we get to live it all over again.
Yeah.
You know what came after the 30s? FDR and the New Deal. So if they want to crash the economy so that we can have FDR and the New Deal, well then maybe that's what happens out of this.
Yeah.
And hopefully there won't be a world war in the process. And Gary's talking off camera.
Yeah, I asked Laura to give my phone because there are some people that were asking for shout outs or making kind contributions, and I'd like to acknowledge them.
Okay, hang on for a second.
All right, so.
And I ejected a cat. He was not settling down. He's knocking stuff over.
Poor Nico.
Yeah. And petting him just means that he wants to bite said bracelet because whatever. He wants attention, but then he doesn't. It's a cat.
Probably hungry.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. If you like these videos, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We put out a new video every night at midnight Pacific time. Leave a comment. I read them all, respond to many. And
then he deletes the one he doesn't like because he's a snowflake.
Yes, I get my feelings hurt so frequently.
Right.
And unlike the bargain basement Twin Tarot channels, the leading brand, although I don't know, I thought we were the leading brand, but the leading alternative brand, we give shout outs unlike them. So like, for example, Natalie Gagnon from Quebec, Canada would like a shout out.
Oh, it's the 4 of coins.
4 of coins. Keep your money close. Patrice Gronwick wanted a shout out because she was not being called out on Romper Room.
She's going to take waiting for her ship to came. Your ship just arrived. Congratulations.
Just came in. And then final shout out to Sandra Suave. I'm going to call it Suave, Sauve, who made a kind contribution to the channel. So thank you so much, Sandra. Appreciate it. And for the secret card for the rest of us, yes. the ever-present 9 of Pentacles. You know,
May you be the philanthropist and the wealthy philanthropist you've always wanted to be.
yes. Enjoy life.
Yeah.
That's what we're here
Okay.
for.
Thank you everyone again for joining us. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care. Bye.